thoughts provided. It was a well-received presentation. I want to thank my co-chair, Eileen, Beth Rocco, who brought up the idea to the commission back in the fall, and thank you all for making it a successful program. We're going to continue on the agenda, so I'd ask you to take a look at the minutes that you were sent in the email from our special meeting on January 30th. The time to see if they can be, a motion can be taken to approve those minutes. I'll give you a few moments. Absent today from our meeting is our recording secretary and Visiglio, and one of our members, and Masuko.
Make a motion.
Kevin Ryan makes a motion to approve the minutes. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kay Straw. The minutes of the special meeting on January 30th are approved. Now on to the chair's report. Chair's report for this month is brief. I just want to let you know that on February 9th, I had a phone contact with Helen Rubino, who is the director of the Social and Leisure Services, and she advised me that our proposed draft revisions for the Senior Citizens Advisory Code is being reviewed by West Hartford Town Corporation Council. And she would like to come to our March meeting, March 19th, to discuss what the review has brought forth. So I invited her under the Social Services report to come on March 19th to speak about that. She also is going to talk about some other senior-related budget proposals that are coming for this year. So Helen will be part of the presentation from Social Services on March 19th. So with that, Monique Dixon is filling in for Karen. So Monique, can you give us a report?
Karen attended the listening session at the Rocco Senior Center with Mary Riley. She relayed concerns regarding the housing crisis, long-term care in home and facilities, and mental health, along with other many attendees. It seemed like a good session. There was still time to make your voice heard. There are 3 more in-person sessions and 1 virtual. So if you are unable to attend a listening session and want to offer input, there is a 1-800 number you can call. Or you can also visit the Connecticut Department of Aging and Disability Services website. Tax programs. Now is the time to apply for any tax discounts or freezes. Applications are done through the tax assessor's office. Energy assistance. We're very busy with energy assistance. CRT is taking appointments, and we have a CRT worker at Town Hall for our residents. Applications can be done online, in person, by mail, or phone. The governor recently added more money to the program. We are waiting to hear when and how the residents can access additional benefits. Operation Fuel is another program that can assist with utilities. The food pantry. We are down 1 part-time employee. The job has been posted. It's on the town website. This is the time when donations drop, but the food pantry continues to provide curbside assistance and distributing large amounts of food. Volunteer services, there is no changes. The strategic planning is still in progress. We had staff spend a significant amount of time at both the senior centers in order to help facilitate participation. We had a good number of seniors responding to the questionnaire. Once we have a final product, we can report back to the committee and give an update.
Thank you. Okay.
Can I ask a question, Noreen? You said that there's a CRT officer now through your department. would that be only to help with applications for residents of West Hartford? I live in West Hartford. I'm doing these applications for my mother who lives elsewhere in Connecticut. Do you know if it's just for West Hartford residents?
It's for anybody. You call the main Hartford office number and the recording lists different town locations. So if you choose to come to the West Hartford office, you can. So
Okay,
it's for anybody.
because I've used Middletown before. Okay, thanks.
Okay, senior jobs bank, I don't see Rob and Claire here, so we'll have no report from Robin. So, a report, how about for transportation, Kevin?
Yes, good morning. I'm Kevin Farmer, Executive Director of ITN Central Connecticut, which is an independent transportation network serving people 60 plus, as well as visually impaired individuals 18 plus. Our volunteer drivers provide safe, friendly rides anytime, meaning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for any reason. I'd like to thank Noreen for connecting me with the West Hartford Knights of Columbus. I spoke there last Thursday at their evening meeting. There were 36 people there, and it was a nice conversation. I appreciate that. I will be speaking on March 25th at the West Hartford Rotary Club in a similar way, and I look forward to that. I also want to mention that our consistent and continuing need is for volunteer drivers. So for anyone who might be interested, please go to our website, itncentralct.org, where you can find an application. You'll fill that out, and then we'll have a conversation, the prospective applicant and I as executive director, and we'll do a criminal and DMV background check, and then the driver can be helping the community. We are neighbors helping neighbors, serving those populations I mentioned. And finally, we're in the midst of our annual appeal. We're making good progress there, but we continue to look for additional support financially. That enables us to provide low and no-cost rides for the community. So please give generously. Thank you.
And now we'll hear from our senior center director, Becky Sears.
Thank you. So again, I'm Becky Sears. I oversee both Bishop's Corner and Elmwood Senior Centers. Our bulletin for the spring, excuse me, will be out this Friday. It will get mailed out this Friday and be in the centers this Friday, and will be online, live, and registration will be open by Friday. Pickleball registration opens this Wednesday. Can't forget that. That's important. We do have a new team member here, Karen Rice, who worked with the town for over 32 years. She has taken a part-time position as a clerk here, and she took over for Natalie Siegel, who has retired but is coming back as an instructor and will begin creative writing classes here this summer. She's a published author and a professor, so retired professor, so we're very excited to have her. She's going to co-direct that program with another volunteer. And one of our goals for the program will be that people will want to write about their life stories. So our members will want to share their own life stories. And where I'm hoping that will go is I've also hired another instructor who has written plays. And so I would like to have our own original play written based on the stories of some of our members. So that's my goal, which is lofty and over a year out, but just keep that in mind if anyone here wants to share their story. Join the creative writing group, and then there are a lot of people that have many interesting stories in this town, everywhere, all over the world, but it's really, I think it'll be really special. So other than that, I don't think I have any other updates.
When do you think the van will
The van, the last check-in I did, they were giving an estimate delivery time of in the fall, potentially late fall, but I'm hoping that they will under-promise and over-deliver. That's what I'm
So
hoping.
8 months.
So I'm hoping we'll get it, yeah, I would love if we could get it this summer, but I'm not quite sure on that. It is, the order is in process. They are building our chassis as we speak.
Becky, can I ask you about the pickleball registration? When you said Wednesday, is that for outdoor or?
That is for outdoor and indoor, because we have an overlap for the spring. We offer indoor pickleball at Elmwood, and then we begin to set up our outdoor pickleball play in May as well, so there's a little bit of overlap.
So indoor pickleball goes through, when does indoor pickleball end?
I would have to get you that schedule, but the current indoor pickleball, I think we have a registration out until the beginning of March. I have to grab the registration. We book far in advance, so we're looking at mid-spring to late spring right now. We're going to be booking through mid-May with this new registration.
And then when did the outdoor courts become?
That's where the overlap starts. They start at the beginning of May, so we have a little bit of overlap because some of our pickleball is on Monday and Wednesday, and the other is Monday and Friday and Tuesday and Thursday. And we have so many holidays on Mondays over winter into early spring that kicked out the indoor pickleball registration to May 11th. But there'll also be some outdoor registration opening up for May 1st, so that's why there's overlap.
And
So
when,
we'll be,
and when the camps start, the summer camps start for the West Hartford summer camps, does pickleball indoors end then?
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So do we have any report? The next item is the new ECC, Elmwood Community Center Advisory Committee, which Beth has been a delegate, and Rory. Do we have any updates since the last meeting where we heard that Rory, you reported that you had an email from Helen that
Right, and there was
no announcement?
no announcement yet. She said in her email that she would email all the committee
Okay.
to let us know
Yeah, so nobody
Once-
gets mad.
a contract had been signed, but there was no action yet.
No action,
But we believe an architect has been picked.
Right.
but no contract, so
Right,
no.
no
No
contract
announcement.
signed.
Okay, well, hopefully maybe by the next meeting, they'll have an update, okay?
Well, I do think that part of maybe our work on the Senior Advisory Commission may be, if we believe in the new center, is going to be outreach in terms of making the cost of the new center palatable to the community. Sherry Cantor once passed a remark to me that she didn't know if there was going to have to be a referendum. And, this is an 84,000 square foot building, and the cost 2 years ago was $65 million. That's in line with the costs I see at, for instance, Southern Connecticut State University for like a new school of business or for a high school. So I don't think the costs are out of line. But, people realize when they see numbers like that, it's like, well, what do we need it for? So that may be our job to try and provide some reasoning. And the other thing is we realize that both the Faxon Library and the current Elmwood, the old school where the senior center is now, are town-owned properties, and they will be sold as real estate, but that's so far down the road that we don't have a good idea as to what those properties are worth in terms of development, and that will help to offset the cost of the new Elmwood Community Center and Senior Center and library. So it's a three-pronged, actually a four-pronged building, because the teen club will be there as well. So that's just a quick summary.
Yeah, I think we could be involved in hosting a meeting with them, with the other partners when that comes to education, because it has been a while since those.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Becky, just one quick question I forgot to ask. How's the elevator over at Elmwood? Is it working?
The elevator is now awaiting inspection from the state because it was the entire engine that was replaced, so it needs to get inspected and approved before it's officially reopened.
It was repaired, but it's now waiting for inspection.
I believe the inspection was slated for today, but I don't want to say offer anything else because I want to make sure that that happens, and I'm not sure what the timeline is for
So
the
what,
approval for use.
so because your meal program is on the second floor, have you moved that at all? Or what have you done with the senior meal program?
The meal program has continued for those that can use the stairs.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we're under new business. I don't have any new business except I just want to remind people, and we passed it out at today's forum, of this handout of the proposed meetings, the calendar meetings for the rest up through June. And I'll just go over, and then I do want Beth and Kevin to speak of some new business, but just we have our March meeting that we referenced, March 19th, that we're going to have, and I think this will really, hopefully the people that came today will come back, and maybe we could set up for a larger crowd, since we announced that I think people do want to receive information about fraud protection and scams. So that's going to be at March 19th. And what time is she speaking, Eileen?
11 o'clock.
Okay, so maybe we'll have to make sure that we get that information out, that she's going to be speaking at 11, because people came today at 10 for Attorney Tong. His schedule is coming for 10, but Kathleen from the banking department is coming 11 to 12. So when we post that, we'll make sure that we highlight she's coming at 11, but hopefully we'll have a good group for her. And also we'll have Helen speak during more the business part of the meeting on some of the things she wants to share with us about on the proposed code and some of the budget matters relating to seniors. And then the other program we're excited to have on our calendar that we're co-sponsoring with the Senior Center is on the medication safety in older adults. And I've sent that information in this flyer, Monique, over to Karen, but you know, hopefully we'll get a good group, because it's a joint program. And is this going to be in the bulletin?
I actually took that flyer and put in a full page ad with all of that information.
Oh, great, thank you very much. I know your bulletin is chock full. And
It
how-
is chock full.
And how about, though, the specific information about Dr.
It's all in there.
Dr. Jeffries? Okay.
Well, yeah, we need to be careful when we put things in the bulletin to not give every detail it's good to put. So his name was in there in the pharmacy, and what we'd spoken about before was in there, as well as how to register. We've done we required registration for today, so we knew set for setting, and I required it for that day. So that,
And it's not on the sheet. I know I look at it, it's missing. Sometimes you don't see something right away. I did put the time for that on that, but it's 10 to 12, the program with Dr. Jeffrey. I hope many of you can make that, since we're co-sponsoring that program with him.
What is the date of that?
It's March 26th. It's on this. It's not, you know, we only meet once a month technically, so, and his availability, he didn't have availability on the 19th, and we'd already spoken with the banking, which is a nice continuation of today, so I think it's a good flow. But this is something that, you know, medication safety is so important with all ages. And he's just I mean, on the phone conversation we had with him, he was just wonderful. I think, you know, he could probably do a whole day presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be the opportunity for people they have to sign up in advance to have individual review. So if somebody and he'll have his pharmacy students, he's indicating 2 or 3 pharmacy students. So someone could come in with their medications, and I think he asked that they bring in their medication.
yeah, we have that on the flyer, and we have times up there
Yeah,
as well.
so that's something we'll be looking at. And the other idea that one of our guests at the last meeting said, and I haven't reached out to the police department yet, I'm not sure if it's possible, to have that medication drop box, you know, that used, expired, that they have at the police department. I don't know what's involved in bringing that to this meeting.
I can reach out. to
I'll
her.
reach out. That's okay.
Okay.
I put it in the minutes that I would follow up.
You can walk into the lobby of the police
Right.
station 24/7
No,
and drop it.
But we thought that since we're having this meeting on medication, that it would be kind
Oh,
of,
to have it here
Here,
that day?
right.
Oh, okay.
so I don't know if that's possible, because I don't know if a police officer has to be here with it, and what, if it can be moved. So I will look into that. But that was, I thought that was a good idea we received from one of our guests at the last meeting, so.
Yeah, that was Judy, a woman named Judy Small.
Yeah, that was a good suggestion.
She just spoke to me again about that.
Yeah, I put it in the minutes, so I will follow up with it.
Her question was, could something like that be permanently at a senior center, since a lot of seniors
Mhm.
are on there? There's some liability there.
Yeah, there would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's taking it first?
We'll have to, I'll have that, I will do that outreach. Now that, as you gathered, today's work, we did a lot of publicity for today's work. There was a lot of, to get to, and I'm so pleased with the outcome. So now, at today's, then we can all breathe and we can focus on going forward. But I will reach out to who's in charge of that at the West Hartford Police Department. And then, some of the other highlights, and this is great that you have this in the bulletin, is, and I'm going to skip over our April meeting because I'm going to ask Beth and Kevin to talk. And then we're going to be at the Senior Day, May 15th. So I give this to you so you can put it on your calendars. And that's not our meeting day, but, you know, that's a good time to get to meet people. They have, and it's going to be at Elmwood this year.
Oh,
It's going
okay.
to be
In the
over at
auditorium?
Elmwood.
It will be spread out.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna connect with Karen to make sure she has all the details on that as well.
Just make sure we know where that sign is.
I always know where it is.
So, and we've done it now, we've done it the past 2 years, and it's, every year it's growing with interest stopping by. We don't have to entice people over as much as Berkeley. But I think we gave out,
Mandarin
Mandarin
oranges.
or
And we
healthy
did a
snacks.
survey.
And we did and actually, we had a lot of nice conversation with people
Right.
at this. So it's a nice, it's kind of a nice way to interact at the Senior Day. So hopefully, and we can talk about that as it gets closer, because we have, it's a long day. What is it, Becky, 9 to 12?
It's 9 to 12.
So if people can come, we would, some of us could be there 9 to 10, take different shifts during that, Now that we have our name tags, badges, people know what we're with and who we are. It's all about awareness and that. And then we'll have our regular May meeting, and since it's Older Americans Month, and I don't know the theme yet, I'm sure it's published, what the theme is. Do you know what the theme is for Older Americans Month this year?
It is blank. I am drawing a blank.
I'll
I'll
have to
follow up
Google
with
it.
you.
I'll have to, well, you just, what the federal government, the Older Americans, that office, they set the theme. And so, we'll have to, but I thought maybe for us, we could talk of some type of celebration. We've had a lot of very informative programs, and we're going to have, but that month, maybe we could think of some more, like a celebratory. And I would ask for participants' ideas on that. Anytime anybody on the commission, and I think people are feeling more comfortable, like if you have an idea, putting them forward, seeing if it's possible. Things that we have done with Attorney Tong and some have been ideas, and then if it's possible, we follow through with it. Because there's other programs, like we found out with the State Unit on Aging, they're offering things, and it's how many things you can attend and do, because other departments, both at the town and the state level, are having other programs. So you could be going all week on activities. So we have to kind of say, well, maybe we could do that early next year if we can't do it this year. And then we always, in June, usually have a legislative wrap-up to see what laws are changing. And they are back in session. It's a short session. They should be done in May. It's a short session this year at the legislature. So we'll talk about inviting one of our either representatives. We've had Senator Slack, we've had Representative Farrar, I think we've had them all over the course of time, in the recent years. We like to kind of have them come to know us, we get to know them. So that's the outlook. So, and I think it's great that people saw this today, and hopefully they will come to these meetings.
Good question.
Did anybody go to it was canceled once because of weather, the legislative thing in the town council chambers where
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't attend
our
that.
representatives
They
and
were,
people.
yeah, you're right.
It's
Great
usually one
opportunity.
evening, but
Yeah, right, it was
I had
held.
gone last year, it was held,
It was
okay.
held.
It's on our live stream, so you could go back and
Oh,
watch
great.
it on YouTube.
Oh, that's
But
great to
but
know.
for us, it's free, I hate to
Yeah.
say advertising, but a chance to,
Well, it's visibility. And
Yes,
which we are secret
let-
agents right now, so we're trying to change that.
I think we're becoming less secret agents. Today was, people, I think
That was a step in the right direction.
resident.
right.
Okay.
Which, by the way, just a housekeeping issue going forward. The form style that we had today, that's reflective of the registrations, is that what made that decision? Because what one would, I'm asking because our normal structure, the big tables around, and if we anticipate a large crowd, I believe we should go to that forum style of seating.
You mean like the table, the big table?
No, forget the tables. We could put it, we
We
could
need
not
an
have had
audience.
80 people in this room at those tables.
Right.
So how does the structurally do you make that decision to go? Because I'm expecting on April 16th to have a large group
Right.
for the housing.
Okay. So I think today, because he was the key presenter, he acknowledged people in the audience, but he was the main speaker, so that's why we did it this way. I think we would, with a panel, if we're having a panel, I would see a panel up front and still have the audience, but we
Just like today.
Yeah,
Like today, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
what
think
was
we
hoping
want to
for.
see what makes sense for that, and we would probably, since it is our meeting, we'll talk about the agenda in March. Maybe we have a modified agenda. I think many of us attended the FOIA training last week, and at the end of January, I saw some names on the FOIA training, and I will be passing on, this is under new business, I will be sending you the slides. It's not, we don't have a recording, but we have a PowerPoint presentation from the FOIA presentation that was done by the West Hartford Corporation Council. And I will send that out by the end of this week so you can see that. And that's really how to conduct, a lot of it was on how to conduct meetings and how to do agendas and other issues. But I will send that out because I know some of you couldn't make it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so we're still under new business, so let's go back and hear from Kevin and Beth about their ideas for the April 16th program meeting.
So Kevin and I decided to talk to Mark Grilli from across the road at Fellowship Housing after hearing him speak and realizing how well connected he was to both the for-profit and the not-for-profit different agencies that are involved in senior housing. So we met with him Monday, and we're starting to formulate a plan that we'd like to throw open to the group. And it was kind of channeled into a discussion regarding issues related to the missing middle, is what we're calling it, 55 plus older adults housing options. And at one point I said to Mark, can we write something down regarding these 3 panelists, which is what we envision, each of those panelists giving a short 5-minute summary, hopefully with slides, having a moderator, and having some questions and answers. I think, however, after watching today, we need to control the stories better. I had 2 people come up to me and say that, some of these stories were way too long, and I just don't know how to control that. You want to let people feel a part of it. But here is the the things that we narrowed it down to. One is industry trends. In other words, what's being built, how that's changing with time, how people's ideas, particularly since COVID, have changed about congregate living. That's number one. The second is particular demographics related to Central Connecticut, which includes West Hartford. And anything that we discuss, even though we're the West Hartford Senior Citizens Advisory Commission, is obviously considered regional. You know, even the vouchers and everything for the very low-income seniors are all regional. They're not just West Hartford. In fact, the West Hartford Housing Authority is not just West Hartford either, it's regional. And then the third panelist would be special concerns of middle-income seniors regarding housing options. And Kevin and I would like some feedback, but we feel that the housing vouchers and the information given out for very low-income seniors over the past 2 years has been well covered by this commission. And we realize that that is probably 10%, maybe 15% of our population that qualify for those options. But let me remind you, the upper tier of low income includes seniors making $60,000 a year, and that doesn't sound to me like low income, but and you may be better versed than me, Monique, in terms of talking about rents and the 80% of the median income. Am I correct that around $60,000 is still qualifies for some of these, I'm going to call it rent subsidized or affordable housing programs, which I think people are not aware of. So then we had a very nice, really catchy phrase thrown out by Mark Barilli that we think we would like to use. And he said maybe the talk or the advertising should be called, "Shall I Stay or Shall I Go?" Meaning you're 70, 80, 85 years old, and are you going to stay in your house or are you going to look for something else?
Actually, it's earlier than that, earlier than 75, it's 55 and above.
Well, that's who the
The
talk is.
conversation needs to be, which is a little bit difficult at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to have to think about that perhaps going forward. I'm suggesting maybe even doing a second one some evening. Because the issue for the entire country, the United States, is that we don't have an elder culture in this in the nation. You know, elder reverence doesn't really particularly exist in the United States. It's structural. You know, we were founded by a bunch of people, got off a boat, etc. We're a youth-oriented culture, and that's not a complaint. It's a fact. The spin-off of that is that as a society at retirement age, whatever you want to call that, essentially what societally we do is say, good work, now go to the parking lot. Well, we meet a lot of people here every week that are in that parking lot, and their questions are, what should I be doing? I am a single person in a house that's too large for me. I don't know where to go. I don't know what's being made available. And actually, in the last year when we asked that question, we mostly heard about subsidized housing, which is, just pointed out, this, what they call the missing middle, is not being served. And it's a national problem. And we just met, I've been meeting with developers. It's a national issue among developers. So what do we have as alternatives? We're doing a lot of apartment building in this town right now, and we're having a lot of challenges getting some attention on building age-appropriate units. Not the voucher system particularly. We're just, you know, and it's a challenging because the aging in place phenomenon is very real and very strong. So in order to break that, we got to make something that's more attractive to have people interested in moving.
Well, and I think the problem here in West Hartford is there is no open space, which is why we've tried to catch the ear of the developers of the UConn University property up there. They've now changed their name to, it was Oakwood, which was confusing for people because of Oakwood being a particular section of town, and now it's the Heritage.
Heritage, yeah. So the point anyway, the reason for having the emphasis on the April meeting is to try and attract those folks who are not actually uncomfortable in their homes but haven't seen any alternatives. The benefit to the community, if we could make such things available, is it'll open up those housing to new families who have children, who will grow the community. So there is an economic benefit to the town to be proactive in trying to get more age-appropriate housing available. Issue number 2 about that, older people don't like to rent. Frankly, we like our assets. We like that we're living in mortgage-free housing. We like to own things. We don't like to be subject to somebody else's. So it's not a simple problem to resolve. That's what the entire construction industry is wondering themselves. Through Mark, we heard they've had their own forums on this rolling
Well, he showed us
senior
like
population.
a dozen headlines cut out from places about, middle-income seniors and housing. And, we looked at the slide and it's like, oh my God, that's exactly what we're talking about.
It's just not belabor the point too much further. Just know the statistic that is available is that by 2030, which is not very far away, there'll be more people 65 and older in this country than 16 and under. That is a huge implication for lots and lots of things.
When talking about this forum, and it sounds like you're Mark, he's a very, Mark Garilli, very knowledge-based, and he offered his assistance when he spoke to us in December, so I'm happy to hear that because he knows this field.
He's well connected.
So, do you expect this to be like an hour? Are you looking at it to be like an hour long, or?
I think it might be the whole morning. I went to the Aging and Disability Conference that was the prior one that was up near the airport. There were 120, I'd say, people there. The housing issue came up off the floor, and it was absolutely people getting up and saying, "Hey, I'm middle class. I don't qualify, but I have all these issues." So it was an opportunity to just raise the fact that we were going to, we were planning a forum in April. There was so much interest in that afterwards that the director of the senior center said we may want to run a bus down for that. We have enough people. So that, I think we're going to have a fairly, especially if it's promoted, however this got promoted today, if we have that level of promotion, we have the time to do it.
Well, part of it was the draw of the
That's
Attorney General,
But I think this topic has a draw if we get it publicized. Because there are people, the missing middle is 85% of this community. And older, we're supposed to believe, it says on that thing over there, that we're the community advocates for senior citizens. So I think there is a major need to get a voice in this community that's consistent. That's what the commission really purports.
Well, and with the putting forth this information that, from people that, we're learners in it. We're trying to bring people that are knowledge-based. So for this group, in terms of our commission, it's going to be SAC-sponsored. I would hope that anybody else here that would like to work with you on planning this could come forward and say, I'd like to join you in this. If this is something I'm passionate about, and work with you on this, because it is going to, to formulate and see what Mark Garilli's idea is, reaching out, putting it together, advertising it, and all that. It's hard to do just 2 people, even a lot of work. So if anybody else here of the commission would like to join you, I would hope that they would contact you and do the commission. And today's February 20th, and we're talking less than 2 months away.
Yeah.
So I know we have to kind of move on. It's been a long
And just a brief disclaimer, the reason that Kevin and I kind of went to this meeting, just the two of us, and Mary has been involved going way back, was because of these rules about special meetings and filing an agenda with the town a week ahead. Well, we changed the appointment with Mark Barilli 3 times in 3 days.
Yeah.
And, but we're not trying to be exclusive. We want to be inclusive, and if there is an interest, certainly 3 or 4 members would be great, and we'll just have to deal with the rules of the town regarding agendas and reports, because it will be called a special meeting. What Kevin and I did on Monday, we didn't consider a special meeting.
Well, let me check into that, but planning a program, I'm not sure if we need to have, I mean, we're planning a program, we're not, kind of tackling an issue. So let me get some clarification on that from West Hartford Corporate Council, because I would like other members, if
Sure.
they're interested, to, because it is a lot of work to host these forums, so, and it is going to be a, SAC sponsored, so let me get that clarification, talk with Helen, and see what the protocols require that we're proposing. This is kind of the general gist, do we need to have a subcommittee on it, and I will get back to you.
Okay, and obviously, if anybody here has any ideas that they want to see included, I do think that having 60 or 100 people here and having open mic pass around may not really work, and maybe it's going to be
which recognizes the profound impact that meaningful relationships and social connections have on our health and well-being. And so they're exploring all sorts of types of connection, which is sharing facts, promoting resources, connecting older adults with services.
This is the whole month of May?
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
theme.
Well, okay, thank you, Becky, for that. And thank you all for today. And we should congratulate ourselves. I think we made a big step forward with the community, and go forward.
Congratulations, I'm delighted that our commission is becoming a sponsor for forums, because I think that's how we can help the community.
And I would like to make a disclaimer. It was somebody in the Bishop's Corner office, one of the staff help, that grabbed me one day and said that they had had a phone call. They wanted to hear about scams, and did we think that maybe Attorney General Tong, could come? And I picked up the ball, but it was not my original idea. And I just,
Pushed it along, we appreciate that.
Takes a village.
It takes a
Do you have
village.
a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Thank you. While we wait,
Thank
we will
you.
see you in March. Have a good rest of the month. Thank you. Thank you for joining with us.
Thank you. Can we advertise this number?
We already did.
That's great. Thank you.
Rebecca, Lindsay likes it to say.
Oh, good, sweetheart.
She reports that you're one of her favorites.
We're just asking if it's possible to have
very good. Yeah, there's a good
Yeah.
meeting, really.
Okay, I want to get
I
that.
can't wait.
And that would be April 26th. Thank you. Have a nice.
Just remember to bring them.
Are we going to see you next month?
I hope so, I think so. I'm not going anywhere. I told my board that
Thanks.
I'm willing to be engaged until June 30th, so.
Okay.